All right, welcome to the explainer. So, picture this. You've got this amazing app idea, you're super excited, but then you hit the back-end wall. Well, this explainer is for you. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on Google Firebase, a platform that's all about one thing, helping you build way faster. Okay, so let's start with a feeling I think we all know. You've got it, that brilliant million-dollar app idea. Right? You can see it perfectly in your head, all the features, how the user interface is going to look, it's just perfect.
And then, bam, you hit the wall, the back end. Suddenly you're not thinking about cool features anymore. You're tangled up in servers, databases, user logins, all this stuff that is slow, super complex, and honestly, really expensive. It's the kind of thing that can stop a great idea dead in its tracks.
Well, that exact problem is why Google Firebase exists. Think of it as your secret weapon, a powerful shortcut that just cuts right through all of that back-end mess. So what is Firebase really? At its heart, it's what we call a backend-as-a-service, or BaaS. The best way to think about it is like a ready-made back-end in a box. Instead of building the engine for your car from scratch, you just get a perfectly tuned one, plug it in, and focus on designing the cool parts of the car. You get to focus on the user experience.
And this isn't some brand new, untested thing. Firebase has been around. It kicked off back in 2012, then Google snapped it up in 2014, and from there, it just exploded. Now it's a huge, comprehensive platform, a core piece of the Google Cloud ecosystem, and it's trusted by tons of developers all over the world.
Now you're going to hear a buzzword thrown around a lot with Firebase, serverless. And honestly, it's a kind of confusing term. It doesn't mean what you think it means. So let's take a second and really clarify what serverless actually means for you as a developer.
Okay, so let's be super clear. Servers absolutely still exist. They're there, running your app. Serverless just means you don't have to think about them, ever. No more configuring, no patching, no getting a frantic call at 3 a.m. because your app went viral and the servers are on fire. Google handles all of it, which means your app can scale from your very first user to millions completely automatically.
All right, so now for the fun part. Let's open up this all-in-one toolkit. What do you actually get inside the box when you start building with Firebase?
Okay, first up, data. Pretty much every app needs a database, right? Firebase gives you two awesome real-time options. You've got Cloud Firestore, which is the new, shiny flagship. It's what you'll probably use for most new projects, because it's super powerful with queries and scaling. But then you've also got the original, the real-time database. And its whole deal is just pure, insane speed. We're talking extremely low latency, which is perfect for things like a live chat app or a simple game where every millisecond counts.
But here's the thing, Firebase is so much more than just databases. You need users to sign in? Boom! You get a complete authentication system that handles email, phone, Google, Facebook, you name it. Need to run some custom code on the back end? That's what Cloud Functions are for. Your own little bits of serverless logic. It even gives you fast and secure web hosting, storage for user files like photos and videos, and tools to plug machine learning right into your app. It's a seriously loaded toolkit.
Okay, but what's really cool, what's kind of a mind-bender here, isn't just the individual tools. It's how they fundamentally change the way you think about building an app. We're talking about a whole new, event-driven way of doing things.
So in the old world, you'd build your app, and then you'd have to build this API server, this middleman that sits between your app and your database. With Firebase, you can often just throw that middleman out. Your app's code, using something called the Firebase SDK, talks directly to the database and other services. It's a huge shift.
And this right here, this shows the magic of that event-driven flow. Let's use a simple to-do list app as an example. Step 1. A user on their phone adds a new task. The Firebase SDK in your app writes that new task directly to the Firestore database. Step 2, Firestore instantly, and I mean instantly, pushes that update to every other connected user. No refreshing needed. And then, Step 3, that new piece of data can trigger a Cloud function, which then, Step 4, sends out a push notification to the whole group saying, hey, a new task was added. See? It's like a beautiful, seamless chain reaction.
Okay, hold on. This probably sets off some alarm bells, right? If your app is talking directly to the database, and there's no API server in the middle acting as a security guard, what's to stop some bad actor from just opening up your app and writing garbage or worse all over your data? It's a super important question. And the answer, the absolute key to this whole thing, is something called Firebase security rules. This isn't code you run on your own server. These are rules that you write that live directly on the database itself. So, for example, a super simple rule like this one basically says, yeah, you can write data, but only if you're a logged-in user.
You have to start thinking of these security rules as your new security perimeter. It's a whole language for defining in really fine detail who gets to read what and who gets to write what. And because these rules are evaluated on Google's servers before any data gets touched, they are impossible for a user to bypass. Honestly, if you're going to use Firebase, mastering these rules is probably the most important thing you can do.
So, with all this power and this new way of building, it brings up a really big strategic question. Choosing Firebase, well, it's not just a technical choice. It's a fundamental business decision. And it all boils down to one thing: speed versus control.
Let's talk about the big win for Firebase first. Speed. I mean, just look at this. The time it takes to get a prototype, or what we call a minimum viable product, out the door is just ridiculously lower with Firebase. Compared to building everything from scratch, it's not even a contest. You can take your idea and get it into hands of real users faster than you probably thought possible. But, and this is a big but, there's no free lunch. All that incredible speed comes with a trade-off. You give up a certain amount of flexibility. You give up total control. You are choosing to live inside Google's world, and that can lead to something we call vendor lock-in. Building a custom backend is way slower, for sure, but the payoff is that you own everything. You have complete control forever. Now, what makes that whole trade-off decision a lot easier to swallow, especially when you're just starting out, is the price tag. Firebase has what's called the Spark plan, which is a really generous free tier. And I'm not talking about a free trial. I mean, you can build and launch a real app with real users, and it can cost you absolutely $0 to get started.
And if you're thinking, okay, this sounds cool for a little side project, think again. Firebase is serious business. It's being used to power critical pieces of some of the biggest apps on your phone right now. We're talking Duolingo, Twitch, Lyft, even giants like Alibaba and American Express. These are not small-time operations.
Check this out. This is a fantastic real-world example. You know the game Fruit Ninja, right? The studio that made it, Halfbrick, used a Firebase tool to test and optimize the ads inside their game. And just by doing that, they increased their average revenue from each daily user by 16%. That's not just a cool technical feature. That's a real, measurable impact on their bottom line.
So let's bring it all together. What is Firebase? It's an accelerator. It lets you build and scale apps faster than you could on your own. But it's a strategic trade. You're giving up some of that fine-grained, long-term control in exchange for lightning-fast speed and the huge peace of mind that comes with having a backend that just works. And that really leaves us with the big question, the one that you have to answer for your next big idea. Firebase gives you this incredible, game-changing speed to bring your vision to life. So knowing everything we've talked about, is that speed worth the price of giving up that ultimate control? It's a fascinating choice, and now it's yours to make.